Hello. So last time we learned how to build the Docker image and how do we expose the port. So this time we are going to look into the volumes, reason why volume is required, and in what ways we can use the volume in our container. So let's begin. Why do we need a volume concept in Docker? Let's take an example. If I spin up a machine and in that I write a file, something like I create a directory mkdir vol1 goes to that, and then I write some data in this one.txt. Then if I exit, since our Docker also changed its state to the exited, there could be a possibility that someone might delete it. So docker rm fp. In that case, now we don't have a Docker and we can't fetch that particular file which we have created. To avoid this particular outage, we need something, and the concept what we need is volumes. So what it does, we create a volume and use that volume to bind to the container each time when a container spin up. So I'll show you how to do it. So first we'll create the volume. My vol, and I'll just check. I have one volume which I have created. Now if I have to spin up, I'll name it web, and I'll mount this particular volume. The type is volume, source is my vol, and target is going to be /vol1. It has to be double hyphen here. Now if I go in this particular volume vol1, though I don't have anything, if I create something like 1.txt and write some data in this one, now I have file present in this particular location, def vol1, and if in case I exit, now my container is exited state, but I have a volume which contains my data. So even if someone goes and delete this particular container, my container fa, now if I don't have any container, and next time if I spin up a machine web 2 or something, web another other, and I'm using the same volume, in that case if I go here in vol, I can fetch that data, the data what I have written it down, even though it is a different container. So I could able to manage to use the volume, and I could able to save the data. Likewise, there's another way to do the things is volume binding. This is a block volume. Now, likewise, we have a volume binding. What it does, your local directory will get attached to the container. So how it is done in this system, in my system right now, we have a docker and readme.md file. So if I connect to docker and instead of volume, I use bind type, and in here I'll use my current directory is going to be source. In that case, if I go in /vol1, I can see my readme.md file, docker file. Even I can create something in this directory 1.txt and bind testing. And once we exit, we can have the very same file over here. Therefore, this is another way we can bind our local directory with the Docker container, write the data, perform the activity, take the output and retrieve the data in the local directory. So this is another way of using a volume. We talk about the volume, we talk about the bind. Now third option is the temporary storage. So let's take an example. If someone wants to perform some testing and write the data, but they don't want that volume to persist once that container gets deleted. So in that particular scenario, we can present that writable layer to the container using temporary storage, tmpfs. So to do that, we have to specify tmpfs. And before I do, I want to run the watch on this watch docker volume ls. So now in my docker container, volume 1 will be mounted and it will be used from the memory, and once the docker will get destroyed, the particular space will also get destroyed. So if in case I go in here, now I can write here any data. So and in here we can see there's no volume which has been created. So once I close, this writable layer will automatically get deleted. So this is all about the all three different types of volume, what we can attach with the container. One is volume type, then it's a bind type, and third one is a temp file system. So we can use all these three different type of writable layers and to the container to perform the read write operation. Based upon our usage, we can specify whether we need a bind, we want the temporary, or we want the volume storage. Thank you.